Hello, everybody. It's Freaky Friday the 13th. Our first one, I think, unless we spaced out and
I don't want any more.
Another one.
I do not want any more Friday the 13th.
It's been really weird already.
It really has been. There was a monster emergency. We have Des on the phone. Des is staying. He's taking care of our house. And that gives us a great deal of peace, usually, but the report from there is not good.
And the studio, no power, no internet, and some kind of general weirdness going on. How you doing, Des?
Hey, Des.
Hey, pretty good.
Hey, good to hear you, man. It's been a while.
So on your unluckiest episode, I'm back on as a guest.
For a very freaky guest.
Speaking of unlucky things, we have Des on the
line. We're talking about how detestable it is, and there's you on the line. But it's fitting, is it not?
Good news.
What's going on?
Good news. The home studio is back up.
Oh,
so that's good. Your home studio's back up.
Well, excellent. That's, for us, it doesn't matter nearly as much as it does for you because you are in the middle of a very big project. So we'll...
that's partly what we're going to talk about a little bit later. But what do you know about the history of Friday the 13th and why is it unlucky?
Me?
Well, yeah, you're the historian.
What I haven't had a chance to do any updating, but as I understand, many of the Knights Templars were actually burned at the stake or
the leader
captured on Friday the 13th. But I think it was the day that they were killed, and that's part of why.
It's the leader specifically, I think, and I don't remember the name. Sorry, but
Jacques de Molay.
Yeah, that's right. You got it.
So,
I would qualify that as unlucky. I can imagine that would probably be your last words if you were just like, what an unlucky day I'm having.
That's right.
From heretofore, I declare this an unlucky day forever.
Forever, but compared to our little problems with power and internet, doesn't that sound trite for us to be complaining about that when,
We are trite, but it's fun sometimes.
Yeah, it is fun. How are you? Are you all right?
It's been a while. All the fans are clamoring for your return, and we had to wait for a weird day for that to happen, like you said.
all the fans.
Yeah, all the
fan.
No. We really love our fans.
You guys have quite a following. It's impressive. I mean, people are really digging your spelunking.
Oh, that was fun. Oh, you have to come with us next time we are here because we have a bunch of other places that we need somebody that we can lower down into holes.
No, we need somebody tiny for that, and that's you.
No, I was hoping to pass the buck because I keep thinking that, it's just a matter of time before I'm going to be pushed down in one of those locations that are not very much fun to be around. I was a little scared even sticking my hand near there because the bats were flying in and out.
We'll debat it for you.
Sure you will.
Next time you'll have to bring like an acoustic guitar and do like a little impromptu session in the cavern, have a camping session.
Oh, there you go. Might have some nice acoustics in there.
Yeah, that would be good.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing now, isn't it, for people to go and perform in caverns?
Well, PBS, I know, has that Saturday night show where they do...
The cavern section.
Yeah, the cavern sessions all the time. I really like that. But I something? As cool as that sounds, I don't think I'd be all that comfortable sitting there for any length of time. If you explore a cave like that and you run... Because I don't... Yeah,
start traveling with a tennis racket. That's all you need.
Oh, please. I could picture that. That was fun, but you really would have enjoyed being there. And there's so many wonderful things to see and do here that I'm thinking that next spring, clear your schedule and plan on coming with us because then we'll just do our projects right from here. So...
Yeah, I would like to do, maybe you guys could do an episode in a hot air balloon. That would be fun. I'd like to do that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
well,
good. We'll leave that one for you. I won't be doing that one either. I need to get one of those agents who can
Like
sit down with my
that-
contract, and I can list down all the many, many things I'm not going to do.
Come to mind about the time that we taped a video camera to your hand and you were going to go on a roller coaster.
No, we taped it to the videographer's hand, and I had a hat on, and my hat blew off.
That's right.
And we had literally duct taped the camera to the videographer's hand, and she did a great job. And she was always just so meticulous, and she was one of those fearless type people like you are, Does. And so we were really thrilled. It was the opening of a new roller coaster, and everybody was very excited about that. So we got...
Should have used the duct tape on your hat. Should have duct taped that to your head. I should have
duct taped it to my hat. Anyway, I got off that ride, and I'm kind of a chicken about a lot of stuff. I got off the ride.
Yeah,
my knees were weak.
You.
My knees were weak. I had been so scared on there, and then we find out the camera wasn't running. It was secure in her hand, but I think maybe in the process of duct taping it to her hand.
I forgot to push record.
Yeah, I don't know whether she didn't push record.
It happened on Friday the 13th.
It did. No, we're going to say that it did, okay.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, that happened on Friday the 13th, folks.
But that's a good opener to ask both of you guys if you've had any specific experiences on previous Friday the 13th.
None come to mind for me because I lay low. But we've flown a lot.
I'm going to say something controversial.
What?
Do it.
Say something controversial. I think generally, I don't know, depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm cranky, if I'm tired, if I'm hungry, whatever. But, you can find unluck, in any little thing that happens to you on a daily basis.
Right.
And so you could have a Friday the 13th where it's a normal day usually, but you're more sensitized to that's got to be that I'm unlucky that that this ice cream melted. It's like no, it's a Friday.
Right.
It could have melted on any Friday.
No, that's right. That's right. And I think if you're looking for things that seem like they're unlucky, then you'll find them. You're going to find whatever you look for. If you're looking for beautiful things and things that make you happy, you'll find them. But if you're looking for things...
And if you're a bunch of teenagers, Friday the 13th is not the best day to go camping. Historically, in movies, you'll find that
exactly
to be true.
No, this is right.
You want to go camping? Let's go on Friday the 13th. Sounds good.
That's right.
I made the case once that Monday the 13th would be more unlucky because everybody just hates Monday anyway.
Yeah.
And 13 in and of itself unlucky, I guess.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, I don't remember anything specific except for maybe this one a little bit.
Oh,
right?
I know. That was serious. Apparently they had a pole or something, a transformer blow up, and so a lot of drama.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I'm just glad to hear that you're all right, and I understand that you had to leave the area and go to a hotel. And I think that was
I had nothing to do with it. I just reported it. I was not fleeing the scene. They have my contact.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. That's maybe that wasn't so good.
Maybe I did make it sound that way. I didn't mean to. There you go. Now it's really unlucky for you.
That's right.
But the neighbors whose house caught fire. He's okay and everything. He survived. He's in good spirits, and they're just cleaning up now. It could have been a lot. It could have been a lot worse. It could have spread really fast.
Good.
So, and the local emergency teams got here at record time. I was impressed, and they stayed. They had a whole team here. They had ambulances standing by. They had they knew right where to go. They were.
Wow.
I was like, no, it's where they do Down the Donut Hole. Oh, we'll be right over.
And
It's the Down the Donut Hole Studios.
It makes you really feel confident, and those people are amazing. I mean, just thinking about the risks that they take every day. You know, I'm not sure I'd be that brave. But
that could have gone upside down really fast. You don't know what's inside a place like that. What's burning that could just explode in your face.
Right.
Even if it's you're not in a high rise, it's just a ground level home. But you don't know what is inside that home, ready to kick off at any moment. So.
Well, that and also the plastics and some of the other things, they say they give off really toxic gases. So I was relieved to hear that you did not hang around.
And I was fascinated. Well, I was fascinated to see how they do everything. And I was trying to ask what was the status of everything. And they politely said, well, we can only tell the homeowner stuff. And I said, I understand. And I always said, I want to make sure I'm not in the way, and I don't want to bother anybody and stuff, because, they're in a different mindset.
Yes.
But it's go time,
Yeah. Well, we should all be really, really thankful that on Friday the 13th, when things go bad.
Absolutely. Hats off to the first responders all the time. Yeah.
So that was pretty dramatic, I would say. Wow. If we were trying to script something that was pretty out there, I don't think we could have done a better job than, just that craziness. So, did you see Kelly? Was she around at all while all of this was going on?
Wait a minute. Where was she? And did she have a match?
Kelly, yeah. She did the old Muttley laugh from the Wacky Races. She's behind there. She is, her kittens have graduated and they've moved on, and so all her kittens left the nest, and they're all out in the world on adventures and stuff. I know some of your fans were like, "Oh no, where have they gone?" It's like they
all have good homes.
Gone to good homes, yeah. So it's like I think Kelly is like, well, when am I going?
Right.
She's mad at me. It's like, when do I get to go on vacation? But
plus,
no, I got her a little kid's teepee, and she doesn't like that. So I'm going to sleep with her. She looks at me like, I'm a cat, right? I'm a wild, kind of a feral cat. I'm not wild, but I'm like, she thinks I'm an idiot, and she's probably right.
Oh, I don't think that. I very much appreciate that you are there. I regretted that the timing of Kelly's kittens finding their forever homes aligned with the time that we left. I would have liked to have been able to be there longer, but we did have a schedule that we had to keep. So that was less than ideal. That was actually, the kittens were supposed to be taken 2 weeks sooner than our departure date, but it had to keep getting pushed back because the person that was coordinating all of that was just inundated with kittens all of a sudden. And so that snowballed.
Those kittens would have been taken a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, I mean, by hawks and owls and stuff. They were getting too rambunctious, and they couldn't be contained.
No.
There's nothing you can really do.
They ripped up our screens.
Like a little snack and stuff.
Yeah, they would have been. And remember the night, not too many days before the lady came and got them, the owls were out singing their love songs out in the big pine tree near the house.
Oh, I bet they were.
They were probably circling. They were probably thinking, hey, this is like a vending machine for snacks, because...
Yeah, they were running down the menu.
And Kelly was,
What's the special of the night?
She tore open the screens in two big places. So now you're probably getting a lot of mosquitoes in there. We got to get that straightened out too. the whole timing, you know how sometimes stuff just kind of gets away from you and there isn't a bunch you can do in the time that you actually have. But you've done a great job, and we can't tell you how much we appreciate you being there, especially last night, because it was you that called that in to 911, we understand. So, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Just, let our neighbor know.
Let me just, the only way I can describe it is it's one of those events in your life where you're like, am I seeing this? And so anything you've had on your mind of things you were going to do with your evening or problems you've had kind of hanging around you, or, what kind of dark clouds you've had over you and stuff, something like that is just like, it sucks your entire focus into it, that event.
Right.
And then I remember sitting here, I was stuck in here with all the emergency vehicles when they were here for hours and hours. And I was just sitting in my car, thinking, what the meaning of it all?
Right. Oh, I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad he's okay.
The perspective is really intense in a moment like that, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know.
It really is intense. Let me ask.
You're right. You guys talk about mindfulness and stuff. I think that's something people really need to kind of tap into a lot.
Well, we've been looking at so many different types of energy healing and other things like that. Right. And music is something that they are increasingly saying is extremely therapeutic for the listener.
Yeah,
and I would assume also for the writer.
Not too long ago, actually, more and more research about how.
I hear you, and I don't know if you hear me, but see, this is what I mean. This could have happened on any day,
right?
But because it's Friday the 13th, it just seems like it's like some kind of curse and stuff. But
yeah. Well, at least, power's been restored. The internet is back up. Nobody got hurt. And so I think we need to call this a Friday the 13th that turned out very, very well.
Yeah. So one of the things we want to talk to you about while you're on is that we know that you're...
I don't know if you...
Can you hear me?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can.
I can't hear you, but if you're still recording... I'll just go, right?
No, you don't do that. Never mind.
That's what I was thinking.
So you can't hear us?
Can you hear us?
Apparently not.
You can? No, you're playing. You're messing with us.
So we're the two best podcasters in the world?
He doesn't answer. I don't blame him. You're just gonna periodically say, This is going to be really interesting because I think we should do that too.
Yeah.
Dave, just,
Yeah, that'll make an interesting one, won't it?
Yeah. See who gives up first. It won't be me. Probably.
Exactly. Hello.
Oh, wait, I just got a text. We lost him.
Oh, did we lose the connection?
Yes.
Oh, I'll try him back. And I'll just pratter on about the music thing a little bit. That came to mind again. It's one of my favorite subjects, actually, with neurology and music. But you showed me a short, I think it was, on YouTube about this 3-year-old boy, which was incredible.
Oh, my goodness, yes. He was 2 or 3 years old, and he's there playing this complicated drum.
I think was it a Nirvana song or something like that?
What was it? Something about sunshine. Let me look.
Oh.
Gotta look.
Yeah, look it up because that's we can't replay it or anything, but watch out because the audio will come through.
Oh, I'm not going to play it.
Okay.
I just am looking for what it was.
We don't want to get in trouble.
It's called Toddler Who Can Barely Talk Drums and Sings Pocket Full of Sunshine.
Oh, okay.
With stunning precision. And I was playing it, and Dave heard it, and he goes, "What is that?"
That is incredible.
He can't really talk, but he's making these vocalizations in the same pattern that the voice would take for pocket full of sunshine. And the video is so cute. In one hand, he has a little plastic sand shovel, just a little one. And in the other hand, he has a stick that he probably picked out from under the tree out back of his house. And he's sitting on a tile floor, drumming and singing his head off. And it is shockingly accurate. I was just blown away by it. And the family has done the right thing. They have really encouraged him. So that was an early video that they did. And then later they got him a drum kit for Christmas. And there he is sitting at this little drum kit and in the corner of probably the playroom or the family room or something. And he's drumming his little heart out over there on the kit. And you can see he's working the foot pedals, and he's doing all of these things. And instantly when you see that, you recognize that this child is...
He's in sync. He's completely naturally. You don't have the time when you're that age to learn any of this stuff.
No.
This just comes from the spirit, the connection, the matrix, what have you. And it's just incredible to check that out. It's really quite amazing. But that shows synchrony, they call, with the brain waves and all that stuff. It just on a very, very fundamental level.
Yeah. And if you, like with kids, I'm just going to finish up on that. If you see that your children are particularly adept at something like that, you have a responsibility to help make sure that gets fostered. And that family absolutely did. And it turned out that the little guy was very fond of Elvis. And they had a video of him in a little white suit singing some Elvis songs and drumming on the side. So it was pretty darling.
That's kind of a weird music mix there.
It was a very weird mix. But hey, he's 3 or 4 or however old he is. He can play whatever he wants, you know.
Exactly.
But it does make you feel better. And they say that it absolutely builds neuroplasticity in the brain, which helps all kinds of development. And they're finding more and more that those kinds of things help people who have lost the ability to move or are handicapped severely in many ways, that if their brain continues to exercise like that they can actually foster getting better, so.
Yeah. Science is amazing on all of that. They had what they called the Mozart effect, I think it was, with classical music especially. They showed that there were what they call the brain waves of temporal spatiality, even in just young kids. I mean, even younger than this guy we're talking about. And they were doing, we got our grandson, what was it, Baby Genius or something?
Yeah,
something like that.
It's a game.
No, well, yeah, but it's musical notes, and it's little snippets of classical music. And lights and things like that.
And he was really little. He was like 4 months.
Yeah, he was so young. He couldn't do much with his hands, but his feet. He was just pounding away on this thing and making a rhythm with it with his feet. Even
he had much better large muscle control than fine muscle control in his fingers, and he was just kicking those buttons, and it was lighting up and making sounds. And at first I thought maybe we had just lucked into a spot that he was just kicking anyway, just for fun. But it became very clear to all of us that he was doing it deliberately to play with that thing and to hear the sounds. And so, we kept going with that as long as we possibly could, as long as he wanted to. And he was smiling, and it was just a great time, a great memory. And you think, I wonder what he learned from that. He's 2 now, and he loves to sing. And his repertoire of songs is completely impressive. That he sings, and he amuses himself singing his songs, and you'll hear him if he's playing with his toys or something. He'll be singing, and just it pleases him, and it makes you happy to know that and to be around him.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a brief pause here and we'll see if we can get Des back on the line.
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
All right. Des.
Speak quickly so we don't lose him again.
Yeah, it's Friday the 13th. We got to do this quick. Dennis, I was going to ask you, I know you write songs and that you write music. How do you go about achieving a certain mood? What are some tricks that you do? Or how do you put yourself in the mindset so that you can convey those emotions musically?
Whatever will make money. There's an element of that. There's an element of past, present, and future when you think of something like that. And I think that like what music influenced me and what is happening now and maybe what people might trending towards, Okay. But I think a lot of the, you say I write songs. I also wrong songs, so they're not all good.
But you've taken. I know that you have taken songs that were okay songs, and you developed them so that they are really nice songs. And very soon we're going to be promoting.
Yeah, well, you can plug your thing if you want.
He's got an album coming out, guys.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's really good stuff. And he has.
You guys know about it. You guys, we've kept that under wraps, but you guys are producers of it. You guys have produced it.
Well, a lot of the work was done at the studio there. And I will say that it was impressive to me to watch you go from very raw ideas to refining songs and refining them again and refining the lyrics and just to enhance the mood. You are wonderful.
Very good lyricist, definitely. Can you say that you get into like a zone or something in your head? You kind of phase out a little bit and you're totally focused on what you're doing.
It's weird. A lot of it comes from, honestly, like 90% of it is like when I'm by myself and I'm like, oh, this is a song I'd like to hear, but it doesn't exist. And so it could be like. So
you hear it in your head first, really.
Yeah. I used to write songs with a guitarist because I can't play an instrument. I do samples and I work in the computer to compose the music in the computer. And then, but I worked with a guitarist, and we would sit down, work on songs, and I'd be like, "Here's the song," as I hear it and stuff. Well, he couldn't understand as a musician. He couldn't understand how somebody who couldn't play an instrument could come up with a song.
Well, you come up with songs, all right.
Yeah, but the music fans, a lot of the time, and I'm in that group, that I do have songs appear in my head. I just have no ability to get them out of there. That's the problem. And that's where guys like you are different.
Well, I'm in that middle area where I can't. I would like to play the piano or a guitar or something like that, and you can tell what a square I am by saying a guitar and not I'd like to play guitar. but it's frustrating because I can't. I don't. My brain just wants to play the song. It doesn't want to learn how to do the notes and the chords and all that stuff. It just wants to hear that song, and that's probably part of it. Is just like I just.
Well, there's a lot of examples actually of very famous songwriters that really are not very good musicians, and so that's a precedent, definitely. It's nothing to be ashamed of, that's for sure.
No, because it's poetry, isn't it?
And it's real. Well, until you find yourself like, wait, I just rhymed that word with that word, but I just did that again in the same song,
and you can't.
But and I find myself using the same kind of words and rhyming and stuff. But if it fits the song, I say, well, maybe somebody will only listen to that one song.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, I try, like in writing, you're a writer. I think you might understand what I'm trying to say.
I
As a
already know
writer,
what you're going to say. Go for it.
If you're writing a sentence or something, you don't want to use the same word again
Exactly.
in that sentence or in that
Yeah,
paragraph.
like poetry or writing, really.
So
Exactly.
yeah. So
that's one of the things that for me, I like about a paper copy of if you're writing something that's long, I like to be able to print it out on paper so that I can go back and have keep better track of how often I use a particular word or a phrase or something like that. And in just plain writing, that's to me important because it keeps variety up so that it doesn't seem so repetitious. But in a song, you especially have these catchy phrases that after you've listened to the song for a while, it just sticks in your head. And I find myself humming your songs. I'm no singer.
She has a particular favorite too, by the way. I don't know if you know this, but it's the one that goes, getting wine from a garden hose.
I am so insulted. Every single show, he brings it up. He teases me constantly.
Am I wrong?
Well,
No.
I love, as we've been working through these songs, I love like how you would read into the songs, and I'd be like, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
So it's like having an English major kind of go over your song.
But that particular phrase that is very clear what you mean by that, and you have definitely taken a hold of that strongly.
Oh, you're
strongly. Oh my God! Why did I say that?
You know what? He better hope that Friday the 13th is over before this podcast is, because I'm after him. He's going to have to get to stepping because holy smokes, am I mad at you?
Yeah. Watch me like step on a bar of soap followed by a banana peel, and then.
Would it be okay sometime soon for us to play one of your songs, maybe Two Worlds or something?
Yeah, well, you can,
Well, it's
you can plug it.
Yeah,
sure.
It's out there.
That's about ready for release. Yeah, definitely.
He has a whole album ready for release, and what I like about your album is that there are definite movements. There are songs that he has that are kind of like a fist to the teeth, and both sides of the album kind of start out with that kind of an aggressive mood.
That's a very great range. You go from something like Metallica to James Taylor.
Yeah, it's really, the progression of it is very, very good. And what I like about it is the lyrics.
Something for everybody.
No, there absolutely is.
The album short? That's relatively short.
Stop.
It's not a double album.
Stop. Yeah, thank God it's not. When I say count your blessings, I should say, and count your blessing that does this album. And I would never say that if I meant it. But you deserve it because you're always teasing people.
You're the only one I know that can say count your blessings like a genuine, like, I wish you well, and also like watch your mouth.
Yeah, that's right.
Count your blessings.
Count your blessings, baby. Because
you better count your blessings.
Yeah, that's right.
But a lot of the song, really, that's really all it is. I don't pretend like I'm some great musician or rock star or any of that stuff. These are just songs that I have in my head I want to hear, and nobody's made them, as far as I know.
No, I've never heard anything like a lot of your songs.
But,
I've never heard anything like your songs.
Yeah, we haven't hit any of the bots who are there to scrape to make sure you're not taking somebody else's song. So far, so good.
Yeah.
And I've worked a lot. I owe a lot of it to BandLab, which is a tool that has been very, no pun intended, instrumental in helping me compose these. And it's like, I've seen them really grow, and I'm very happy with where they're going with stuff. They seem like I want more people to be able to do that, but I don't know how. But you know what? I think that they work with real musicians, and so there is a partnership there. So it's not just like there are real people involved in it. It's not like
Yeah, no,
Right.
no, it's actual
Right.
real musicians there, except that you're not having to bother these people over and over again. You know, say, here, I played this for you. You're using it in your song, and
It's an archive, right?
There you go.
Is so you could. Is it
My
safe to call it
desire
an
would be-
archive? That you can
I'd say so.
mine, for want of a better word, you can mine for snippets that you can then develop. Is that how it works?
Yeah, and you also can plug in your own equipment to it, and you can also they have virtual instruments you can play, which I do. I can do that too. I can
That's
do
great.
that and then coordinate. I can't do that in a real one though. A real instrument, yeah.
Yeah.
But I would love to be able to put together like a live band and some of the songs performed by a live band.
I believe it
this
will
is
happen.
I think it will, because there's a lot of bands and musicians, and we know a lot of them who are fantastic musicians, but they just can't write. You know, and the need
And
for
I also-
a songwriter is huge.
I would like to see, like, this is weird. I'd like to see Metallica. I'd like to hear them do a couple of the songs. And then I thought about, I don't know which song, but Kelly Clarkson came to mind for some reason about something. I'd like to hear her sing one of the songs. And I have no idea which one that would be, but
Probably not the Metallica one.
a lot of it comes from, these are songs I'd like to hear myself that don't exist. And also, I'm working on something, or I'm by myself doing something in the kitchen, or I'm at work, and you have anybody to talk to. You're on a drive and whatever. I'll find myself just like making up stuff, and it not all of it's good, but there's seeds that kind of being kicked around and planted
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And you do a lot of experimentation, I think, too, and that's part of the process. You'll get new inspiration maybe as you go.
Yeah.
And I find my musical tastes are very wide. Like I like jazz and the old standards.
Oh, that'd be great. Do a jazz album.
Yeah, and progressive rock, and then dance stuff and really cheesy pop and disco crap.
All right, then
it's like
that begs the question now: what is your least favorite genre?
this feels really bad. I love the Beach Boys stuff, and Brian Wilson just passed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
He was very progressive in how he did stuff. His arrangements and stuff were very.
Just
I don't know how you would describe
it's
it.
just so tight. I mean, it was,
Yeah.
So their
But,
stuff was so fun, especially back in the day. You'd hear that, and it was just sounded like a party to me.
But there's certain elements of country music I like that I find like have crossed over and they all kind of mishmash. Probably my least favorite genre is probably like some of the 50s music.
Yeah.
Like
The
if I
sock
were to
hop.
play stuff on a jukebox, that would be a decade where I would skip some of the stuff. But I also find some stuff really. It's just I think it's not a slight on the performers and musicians or whatever, but it's I don't know. It's very I don't know. I think some of those groups would really shine doing different songs.
You mean
Yeah.
a bigger variety
out
of
of that genre.
things?
Well, part of the issue
out of
back
that
then
genre.
was the variability of the quality of some of the recordings. I think there was fantastic music, but a lot of them were kind of thin sounding a little bit, and a lot of them have actually been remastered here and there, at least, and it does make a big difference. But I think that was part of it.
Yeah. I think we're really lucky. There's so much we can pick from now, and with all the different ways that you can have music and get music, it's really opened it up. And I'm thinking that it's better for the musicians than it used to be. Is that right? Would you say?
Well, it's better the fact that more people can get their stuff out there. It was much harder to do way back when, but It's
somebody like me can make songs.
Yeah, but
So yeah, it's better. It's a lot better.
heck
I
yeah.
couldn't do this like 10 years ago.
but
No, that's
So
true.
I'm very excited.
well, you know what though? The thing is a lot. You think, oh, it was probably great for the people back in that time because they get signed by a label and all of this. But you hear what those contracts were like, and really and truly, they were so exploitive. So many of them were. That, well, now, because more musicians are out there, they have stuff out there that you can get, it's a little harder maybe to find, specific types of things that you like. But to me, it's way better for the musicians, I would think. I'm no expert on that, but I would think that it would be if you didn't have to sign your music away to some company that was going to get all the profits from it, and you kind of pick up the crumbs.
Yeah, that's true. They were pretty much in the driver's seat back then. There was only one way to get stuff out there, and they had complete control of that. That's true.
And only one way to hear it would be radio.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
And radio, I think they kind of sold themselves out by just, making it formal and taking the local element and the requests out of it. They stopped letting the DJ choose what they were going to play within a genre or a format or something. And then it gets all pre-programmed from some central hub. And now it's just very off the rack seeming to me. So,
well, I have, even so, I agree with what you're saying, but I have to say also that how much I miss, it was frustrating at the time, but how much I miss listening to the radio, waiting for that new song from your favorite artist to come on. And up next, we're going to play so-and-so by so-and-so. Really? And you sit through 5 songs, maybe, that now seem like crap because you're waiting to hear that new song. And you hear those notes, and it's that excitement of it. And I think that you kind of lose the romance of it when it's readily accessible at any moment. So I am glad that vinyl has made it. I'm not going to say is making it's made a comeback. It's
I
back.
never would have predicted that, but that's cool.
Well, the art,
exactly.
The art of it. I remember, you'd thumb through somebody's record collection. Dave, you had a really good record collection.
Yeah, I did.
And
you had
the art was wonderful.
You had a record vault.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, and that was about how heavy it was to move around. So that's why I finally had to divest.
Yeah. When you can keep the music digitally, that's very, very nice. But there's something about the artwork and being able to display those. Dave and I were doing some work one time for a college radio station, and they had just rooms full of music. And they still had a lot of albums on one side, which was fun going through those.
Good for soundproofing, too.
It is, like my books.
Yeah.
Like my books.
Wow.
Anyway, they did still have a turntable in there for people that wanted to go in there and pull some of the records from way back when. But also when I was involved with helping the radio station, of course, it's at the college, so there's part of the music program. They had a couple of courses and all that. And some of the young kids were doing the same kind of thing that you're talking about with samples and all that. And usually it's hip hop and all that thing, and they did some interesting stuff. And then I heard some people were trying to use different genres and all that kind of thing. But I may be a little biased, but I have to say I've never heard anything quite as impressive as what you've done with samples.
That's true.
I can't recall anything that was even close.
Yeah, we got to put it up one of these days on the podcast. We'll put it up and just give people a little bit of a sample of what you do, because we like to laugh, and I think people have an idea of what our everyday life is. Collectively, you, Dave, myself, what does it look like, how we go about our everyday. But what they don't know is the kind of stuff that you're doing after hours usually massive hours overnight when other people are sleeping. You're working on all of these projects, and it is impressive.
And it's all legal.
Well, as far as we know.
all
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as we know. And I think we
As far as
should,
we know.
I do think that maybe we should say goodbye at this point because we've chewed up our time pretty much.
Get some promo stuff out there. Are you going to do like promo shorts on some of the stuff from the album, or what do you have in mind?
I have. Well, you can say whatever. You guys can say whatever you want about it now. I mean, it's you guys are the producers.
Well, Grant
It's out
Lives
there.
is the name of the band,
Yes.
so to speak, right?
Yeah.
Grant
Yeah.
Lives
Yeah.
with an
And the
exclamation
little- and I
point.
swear. Well, and that is a kind of a mantra for we're big fans of Ulysses S. Grant.
Yes, that's right. We are.
Great
That was
president.
amazing story,
And
and no, most people don't understand what this guy did. I mean, it's just unfreaking believable. It's a very
We're not gonna say he was a
uplifting
fan.
story.
We're not going to say he was a fan of dance music or anything, but this first album is I would say like kind of progressive rock. Did you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's that. There's that in
genre.
there. Yeah. There's that in there, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of other things that remind you of other genres too. So it's without being cheesy or being a mashup, it really it does
That's
work.
very good. I can't wait for it to get out there, and that'll be very soon. And tell us again the name of the album.
It's Fantastic Light.
By Grant Lives. So keep your eye out for that.
So kids, it's not fantastic. It's not as good as that. It's Fantastic Light. So there's less calories in the
Yeah.
Fantastic.
There's not as much alcohol in there.
So you can consume as
So
much
you're-
as you want.
You're not going to want any of that, are you?
No, we just want the wine from a
Okay.
garden hose.
She's
and with
wait-
that, I'm signing off. You two knuckleheads can sit here and continue visiting, but I am so out of here.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for calling in.
I'm going to
Hugo.
go step on some banana peels.
Exactly.
Hey, count your blessings. Things could have gone really bad last night. You did a good
Yeah,
thing.
great job.
We're very glad you're all right. Thanks a lot,
Well,
everybody.
it's good to hear you, and we'll talk again soon, I hope.
Yeah, we
Yes.
sure will. We'll
Hey,
get you back on.
Hey, wish you were here, buddy. Bye.
Bye.